thing you can never understand. Okay, I think we're live. Hello everyone. Let me know if you can hear me and see me. I gotta click on all the things. Yeah. Hello watercolorist and Fat Squatch and Mary and Chloe, Erica, Daniela. Hello everyone. Hopefully my mic is picking me up. I kind of change things every time I stream. And if you're here watching from the future, I will put chapter markers on this video so you can like jump ahead to something interesting. Yeah. Don't know why you would skip Akira, but I understand. Don't, it's okay. No one's gonna skip you. And you're not getting on my desk this time. I think he sees himself on my laptop. Yeah. Okay, we're gonna try this. No. He's like, no, you don't put me anywhere. I put myself places. Hello, everyone. Let's jump to the... Okay, yes, everything's looks like it's working. Hello, Paula, Mia, Heiko, Susan, Messy Desk, Jan, Durwood, Sabine, Terry, Erica. I think I said hello to everyone. Hi. We are going to be painting with gouache today, and I really should have done like a little warm-up, or at least came up here a little early and done something creative, because I am jumping in cold. I painted outside yesterday with some friends, which was great, but since then I have not like even thought about painting, so I feel very like this is kind of jarring for me. But this is the reality of many of my days. So yeah, sometimes you just gotta sit down, get the paints out, and start painting. Sometimes painting puts me in the mood to paint, you know what I mean? And either way, I try to paint every day, or at least every other day now, so I stay fresh and I keep learning. So yeah, let me just put my... let me know if the music is okay. I have it kind of low, so I don't know if you can even hear it, but I tried to find something kind of chill. And yeah, I guess I'm gonna get my palette out. Excuse me. I'm gonna try to set up within like 5 or 10 minutes. But we have a lot to chat about, I feel like, because... Well, I mean, I haven't been doing as many videos lately, but I've been live streaming, and I had my paint along last weekend with my patrons. So I've kind of been like talking about things, but I can't remember what I've shared publicly, like about my palettes and about things that I've been painting or things that I've been up to. So if anybody has any questions, let me know. All right, I'm gonna actually put chat on this screen because it'll be easier to see. So, hello everyone. This is I am gonna make a video about this palette, by the way. It's just that I have like 8 hours of footage. No, not really. It's probably 5 hours of footage of me like cleaning it out and refilling it and stirring it and getting all the colors perfect and then swatching them and painting with them. And I have all this footage to make a video, but I haven't found time to make the video to edit everything because it's been such a busy summer, which is just what happens. 12 hours until your flight. Yes. Yeah. So Heiko's coming to visit and we're going to have a little sightseeing week ahead of us. So I'm kind of like half on vacation this week. I'll answer messages at night and like just check my emails now and then, but I'm going to be mostly just like offline, I guess. And I mean, I'll share like stories on Instagram here and there, but I'm excited to see you. And also, we're gonna go see some cool things, hopefully, and eat some good food. I mean, we could also eat rubbish food, but I prefer good food. It's up to you. The British diet is not famous for its health factor. Be here till you get tired and fall asleep. I completely understand. For those of you in faraway time zones, I totally understand. And then also a lot of people in the US are like just waking up. So basically everyone here is super tired right now. We just need we need coffee, in chat, stat. I'm not super tired. I'm just like a little tired, but that's normal. You just bought the gouache brushes? Oh, that's exciting. I hope you enjoy them. You are watching Gouache Live with Eric Rhodes. I am going to be a Gouache Live teacher next year, actually. So I was on, this past week, I was a guest on Art School Live with Eric Rhodes. If you haven't seen it, I linked to it in my posts here on YouTube, and also you could just go look up Art School Live and you can find it. But we did like a very beginner-friendly intro to gouache, little techniques you can practice. And then he also asked me to be a teacher next year, so I'll see you all next year if you go to Gouache Live, or if you sign on to Gouache Live. These are a couple little postcards. I was just practicing some like certain like watery techniques with gouache, which I think I'm going to play with today. So this is kind of why, so this reference photo on my screen is kind of my loose inspiration. I took that photo yesterday, actually, and it's on the west coast of Scotland, and it's my loose inspiration because I'm kind of playing with layering and different flowy techniques, and just getting a feel for things. So these are kind of my inspiration as well, and I'll just have them off to the side maybe. So let me see. And if anyone has any questions throughout the stream, which this isn't necessarily like a tutorial, but you're more than welcome to paint with me. And if you have any questions, just tag my name and ask me. Rulu! Oh my gosh, hi Rulu! Aw, okay, this is like freaking me out. I have chat over here and I have chat on the right side. I need to just like pick one because I keep looking. How about this? I'm gonna put this screen on over here, and the chat is only going to be on my right side. There we go. That's it. That's the decision. Hey Mary. Oh, you got those subscription boxes. Yay! Okay, just catching up. I have white gouache on the side. Yeah, I do. So this is actually my palette. Let's raise this up a little just for a second, and I'll get my this is my palette of colors that I can pull from, but my strategy in order to keep this clean for as long as possible is to scoop colors I want and put them on a tray and mix from there, because otherwise I'm like constantly cross-contaminating my colors, which is eventually going to happen. It just does with these palettes, but I am trying to preserve this for as long as I can. So in here, this is my Stay Wet palette. This is my favorite one. This is the Red Grass Stay Wet palette, and inside I have my little ceramic mixing tray. And this is the sponge that comes with it, so this is wet. And you can either paint on this with a piece of palette paper, or I also have a gray piece of glass, which I love. I often mix on that, but this was just what I grabbed the other day, and I've been mixing on this. So I pulled these colors out at random. I like gave numbers to each of these colors and forced myself to pick them at random. So this is not my usual color selection. It's a little bit a little bit strange to mix with something so different, especially this, and I haven't used Viridian in a long time. So yeah, it's been kind of fun to just play with something different. I think I may grab a couple different colors today to play with. Hey, Woosie. Hi, Judy. Okay. Sorry, just catching up with any questions I missed. By the way, Wolfie's not here, so he can't help me in chat today, so I might be a little slow. I do have like a supply list with all my favorite supplies, and if you're ever curious about my thoughts on a supply or a subject or something related to gouache, if you go to my Fearless Brush blog, you can search on there, and you know, if you search for like acrylic gouache, all the posts I've done about that will pop up. And like, I've shared a lot of stuff over the years, and like, I do my best to answer questions and comments and live, but I know I miss things. Like, it almost looks like Twitch chat, doesn't it? Like, we have all these, lots of faces from Twitch days here. Hey, Stefan. Palette video, spoilers of brand. This is all Shinhan gouache. Yeah. So I think I caught up on the questions. I think I saw something about acrylic gouache. But yeah, I'm not using acrylic gouache. I'm just using traditional gouache. Hey, Wildflower. I'm using traditional gouache today because I'm going to be like using it very like loose, watery, washy, letting it flow. I don't want to worry about during a stream. I find it a little more stressful to do acrylic gouache because I have to be really careful not to let it dry on my brushes, and I can get kind of scatterbrained during live streams. So I don't want to even remotely chance that. I don't even know what kind of paper this is. It's just like scrap paper I had lying around, so I don't know. Maybe I will just warm up on these two pieces. And then, yeah, we'll just do that actually. I know, I wish we had Twitch emotes here. Is this a stupid idea to like do this down the middle to save a piece of tape? Or is it smart? Is it gonna hold, I guess is what I'm wondering. Oh, I have to be really careful that he doesn't try to sneak in, jump on my desk. Tariff duty charges U.S. affecting your craft element products. I have no idea. You would have to message them about that. But they are affecting me because I was looking it up, and I basically think to be on the safe side, I just need to not ship to the U.S. right now until there's more clarification for art books in particular, because that's the main thing I ship to the U.S. The last thing I want is for someone to order a book, gets all the way to the U.S., and then they get like a thing in the mail that's like, you owe $80. It would be, that would be horrible. And I think I saw something about how in like 6 months they're going to be switching to a percentage based thing, which would be better. That one. So if I wait like 6 months, or between now and 6 months, maybe there will be more clarification. I'm scared like of all the wrong things happening, you know? Which really sucks, because then it basically means I'm not shipping anywhere except the UK, because I can't ship to the EU right now because of that whole restriction with needing a physical contact in the EU to handle things. And oh my gosh, it never ends. Luckily, I don't rely on sales, but I feel so much for the people who do. It's just things like this come out of nowhere. Like it reminds me of when Etsy started making big changes and lots of Etsy artists had to like super quickly pivot because they were losing so much money, so much business. That's really scary. And it's just, you know, people, it sucks because we just want to, we're just shipping art books, you know, like people just want to get inspired and read the art books. It's nothing crazy. All right, let's pick the brushes for today. Might need a big. By the way, I have been using Maddie's Craft Alma brushes and I'm obsessed with this one. Look how cute this is. And it's a mop technically, but it's kind of like a good in-between size for me, and it has a really fine point on it. So I've just been having so much fun with that one. And this one too in the set, because it's like kind of floppy, but it has these hairs on it which let you do grasses and stuff and like scratchy marks really easily. Yeah. But for today, I'm going to be kind of loose, so I think I'm going to stick with something simple. I don't know if I'll need a big brush, but I have it just in case. I'll use maybe these two just to start. Maybe a little one, just for like little details. Just in case, I'll have that nearby. Okay. So I hope some of you are going to be painting and hanging out, and no matter what you're working on, it's a good time to just study something or sketch or whatever. All the wrong things are already happening. That's what it feels like sometimes. Acrylic gouache. I like acrylic gouache for the under layers of painting sometimes because it's like permanent, and then you can do whatever you want on top and it doesn't reactivate. So that's kind of what I use it for. But I will also just paint whole paintings with it so that I don't have to worry about the surface like reactivating. Hey, Donahue Labs. Hello, brother. And family. All right, I'm just catching up. I think you're working. Yeah, let me know what you're working on. Landscapes, working on your watercolor palette dictionary. Wait a minute, Erica. Watercolor palette dictionary? What is this? I need to know. I think a lot of us were just like, eh? Yes? You rang? I'm definitely gonna need a paper towel. By the way, Floki is still outside, so if he comes home, I'm gonna have to run down and let him in. But I'm hoping that will be in like an hour, because then I can also use that time to make a cup of tea. Cooking dinner, will potter with gouache later. Nice. Fan art, watercolor piece. Love having your VODs in the background. Yay! I love having live streams on in the background because I like longer form content in the background when I'm working on or just need kind of like background noise, because then you don't have to worry about it changing in the middle. Live streams tend to be longer. But I use like author sprints. What is it? Writing sprint videos, because the authors will do these writing sprint streams where they have a little chat and then they set a timer for like 20 minutes to an hour, and that's like a silent time where everyone's working, and then the timer goes off and then they have a little chat and then they do another sprint, and it's very like not strict, but it's so good to have that like, oh, it's been an hour, oh, it's been a half an hour, and it kind of like go stretch, do something. Speaking of which, I should set a timer so that I know when to get my tea, whether or not Floki comes home. So, hey Siri, set timer. Oh wait, sorry, I'm not supposed to say that when I'm online because it makes everyone else's phones do things. Cancel. Let's see, I'll just do it manually. Gosh, This is such a hardship. So 57 minutes. That's when we'll go have tea. Okay. So I gotta get in like painting mode now. Are they gonna restock your travel brushes? Yes, we are working on it. We had to reprint the box cover because there was an issue with the image. But I just re-approved it, and now it's going to test print, and then I think I get a test box, and then hopefully after that it's all good to go. So hopefully very soon. They're slightly different design, and they're nickel free, so they're like a second edition, slightly different, and yeah, hopefully soon. All right. Yeah, writing sprints. You can paint, you can write, you can sketch, whatever. I heard someone call it body doubling, where you're watching or you have a video on in the background of somebody doing something similar to you, and just by having that there, it's encouraging you to keep doing it and to feel that camaraderie, almost kind of like you're going to the library to study with your friend. It's just, yeah, I don't know. It makes sense to me because it, works for me. Maybe it doesn't work for everyone. All right, so yeah, I'm gonna use these as loose inspiration. And the photo that I have up on the screen, actually, I need to put that on my screen. Where is it? Oh, it's on my phone. I need to send it to my laptop. Purple geode watercolor. Ooh, cool. Oops, no, I closed it. Oh, where'd it go? It's so confusing to constantly switch between a Mac and a desktop piece, like Windows. Like I always do the wrong command. Okay. Oh, Floki's here. Okay, I'm gonna put maybe a B screen on, but I will be back faster because it's just letting him in. And there we go. Floki! You're playing games, trying to calm down before you travel. I completely understand. I am a mess before I travel. And then once I'm on the way, I'm so distracted by everything happening that I'm like, okay. But then, yeah, it's just the pre-travel nerves. Okay, yeah, let's paint. So let's see, we'll just do some loose stuff, I guess. I'm gonna stick with these colors for now, and just hopefully once I warm up, I may change them. Actually, let's move this stuff too, because when I'm doing the wet stuff, like flowy things, I often have to do this, like lift it up and tilt it, and I know if I don't move everything around it, I'm gonna like flip things over and knock things off my desk. All right, I'm just gonna start. I hope you all are gonna have a nice relaxing study stream with me. So this is kind of what I do when I'm just playing. And this kind of scene is so quintessentially West Coast Scotland, and I really want to take a little bit of time and go there this autumn. I want to spend a day or two here and there, car camping, just chilling, capturing the atmosphere and the moody colors as they change throughout the autumn. So this is kind of getting me ready for that. Ooh, that's good. Gonna be a nice little flowy sky. I have to hold it vertically for a while before it starts to, so it gets that nice flowy effect. It almost turned into lavender. I should just have lavender on my palette. Like, I keep mixing the colors that I have to make lavender. Might as well just have that. Can you use your brushes for acrylics or gouache? Acrylic gouache. Scared of ruining them. So I actually use my brushes for everything. I just really try to be careful that if I use it for acrylic, something with acrylic or permanent paint, I clean them thoroughly. So it's obviously it's completely up to you, your responsibility to do that, but I love them for acrylic gouache. Yeah. I do have other brushes that I use for like regular acrylics because I tend to use regular acrylics on canvas and I use it bigger, so I have like completely separate big brushes for that kind of thing. But yeah, you can use them for watercolor, gouache, acrylic gouache. Most watercolor brushes are fine for all of that, but again, you just have to be really diligent about cleaning them. Nightbot has been really chill, so I actually changed Nightbot's command or the timer so that the only timer is the Patreon one, and it's like every half an hour maybe. Because I was like constantly getting distracted by Nightbot posting things. Take advantage of gravity. Yes, I like that. Exactly. Poke a hole in the top of the card, laminate it, use a keyring to keep them all together. Books. Oh, okay. So this is something that I have been thinking about lately, making a little binder for all of my swatches. And I was asking Discord for some suggestions, and some people were saying use the like trading card binders or the film binders. So they're like long strips. And the trading card ones are like this size, I guess. So I'm trying to decide which one would work best for me. I might just order the film one because I tend to do swatches in strips. We'll see. I'll probably make a video about it if I eventually do it, or maybe I'll make a video about like the process of my favorite way to make swatches and how I'm storing them temporarily, or I don't know, we'll see. For the other one, I'm gonna maybe go a little bit more gray. Let's see. Make some mud, and then add blue. Oh, I didn't get it wet first. Ooh, let's try this actually. Oh no, let's not do that. No, let's do that. Let's put the paint on and then we'll spray it with a little that one is like way less control doing that method, but it gets really soft. So this one will have to be a very low landscape because there's so much in the sky. And I think I should also add more color to the sky because that's going to dry really light. Prussian blue, burnt umber. With a gray undertone. Never tried that before. Let's see what happens. Be free, my paint drops. Be free. Really, really letting that one. Gravity. Okay, now go down. Yeah, we'll have to do like... We'll see. The composition will come to me in the moment. Okay, so that one is, they're two completely different color families. Hi, Floki. Look who's here. We haven't shown you in a while. Hi. Oh, look at Fluku. Hey. What are you doing? Did you have fun outside? Like staring out the window like, yeah, can I go back out? Does he want to go in his basket? Oh. He's like, but... And no. It's amazing how much bigger Akira is than Floki now. Question, so is your first base layer, oops, scroll up, a gouache wash? Yeah, I always use gouache as my for like the whole painting. The first layer is just more watered down. So the thing with gouache is it actually sits heavier in the water, I find. So if I put it in a spot, I know that it's not going to completely disappear. It's going to just kind of sit a little heavier, flow a little bit slower. So I'm absolutely loving it for these initial really wispy initial atmospheric washes. It is tricky though to get the right amount of pigment where you don't want it to look too blobby, but you want it to have that transparent atmospheric effect. You really got to experiment with it. But yeah, it's gouache and it's quirky. But that's the fun of it. Hey Perry. Yeah, so this week I'm streaming instead of a video. I did post it a couple days ago, but I've noticed that YouTube doesn't really show upcoming live streams easily in like people's feed. Same for me. Like I've seen people I follow will be doing a live stream in a few days and it'll show up once and then I won't see it at all until they're live. And I'm like, what? It should be like on the front of my screen the day of to remind me, you know? It's a bit frustrating, but oh, what are you gonna do? You got the brushes. Oh, exciting. Yay. Yeah, they're a lot of fun. So hopefully you enjoy. I just closed my reference photo. That was silly. Where'd it go? Oh, okay. Hey, Sarah. Hello to everyone. If I miss saying hi, I'm sorry. I get in the paint zone and just so you know, this is what my palette looks like. It's very muddy and dirty. So I'm keeping it off to the side as I paint both of these. If you want, I can try to show it on stream, on the screen, but like that maybe? Don't really need a lot of green, but I do need a bit of light blue. My white is very contaminated right now. with blue. But I don't really need pure white, I guess, so that's fine. You received a notification 30 minutes. Oh, okay. It's still a decade behind Twitch when it comes to live streams and discoverability. Yes, that's true. The colors in the sky on the left are giving Daniel Smith's Shadow Violet vibes. Ooh, okay. I would probably like that color then. I did announce this was going to happen on my Instagram stories. I announced it a couple days ago, and then I announced it this morning and put a little countdown. I also posted it in Discord. Like, I tried. I really tried to share it. I can only do so much, though. So I think on... Oh, yikes. On this one, I'm going to maybe stick a little closer to the reference. But that just goes to show you that you can post every day, all day about something, and a tiny portion of your audience will see it. That's just the reality of social media right now, and it sucks, but it is what it is. Like, you... I am not the kind of person to post every day, constantly, so I just kind of accept that most people will watch it as a replay, or maybe not even at all, but I figured at least if I can't get together a video for a week, I'll do a live stream, because I can take 2 hours of my day once a week to do that. Yeah, Discord's fun. Did that sound so fake? I was trying to make it friendly and not creepy at all. Discord is fun, I promise. Come into the shadows. One of us. So let's get a little... Gosh, this red is powerful. I rarely use, I think it's CAD red, I don't even know, but I rarely use it, and it's definitely noticeable when I go to mix something and it's completely, it overpowers the mix. Like, whoa, okay. That's gonna be really dark, so I need to lighten it a lot. Even that's gonna be, yeah, that's gonna be dark. Maybe a bit of yellow. That's good. Yeah, some really fun people, some really friendly people there too. I was being serious, even though I made a joke. totally just got in the zone. Hey Melissa, yeah, I personally use them for watercolor and gouache interchangeably and acrylic gouache. I just try to be really careful to wash them thoroughly if I use them for acrylic gouache because, you know, that dries permanently. So I think rather than thinking about, oh, I can only use this for watercolor or I can only use this for gouache, think about the brush shape and how much water it can hold and what exact technique are you trying to do. Like if you're trying to do a very loose wash, wet wash, you're going to want a brush that holds a lot of water, like a bigger round brush, something with like a lot of hair, something that holds a lot of water. If you're doing little details or maybe dry brush technique, you probably want, I personally like flat brushes because it doesn't hold quite as much water, and I can and the hairs are really soft, so I can just like gently layer the dry brush on top of another color. Same with these small brushes, they don't hold a ton of water, so I can just load up the dry paint on it or the the paint and gently sweep it over. So that to me it's more useful to think about it that way because brushes are very versatile. I think you just have to spend some time experimenting with each one and get a feel for what they can do or what they can't do, I guess, because yeah, some brushes maybe have more limits than others, but I find it a lot of fun to do little practice sessions where I only use one brush for an entire painting or maybe multiple paintings, and I try different size paintings and I try different techniques, and I just really try to see how much I can do with a single brush. And that goes all the way back to my early days of learning gouache when I watched Nathan Fowkes' schoolism class about painting gouache, and he mentioned he had us do like a little exercise where you use a 1-inch flat brush for tiny paintings like 2 inches by 3 inches or 3 by 4 inches. 1 inch flat brush, and you have to figure out how to twist and turn and how much water to use and how much paint to load up, and you have to use that brush, and it is so eye-opening, and it really, really helped me learn creative brushwork. Just that sheer amount of repetition and problem solving with a single giant brush. Yeah, that's my answer. 1-inch flat on postage stamp. Yeah, try it. It would be crazy. I have done like these postcard size pieces, and I've used a big brush I had for painting houses, the outside of a house, which are massive. You know, they're 3 inches or something. I have done that just to see, and it is chaos. Like the painting was completely abstract. But I actually really like those, and my dad really liked them, and he was like, "Can I have those?" It was slightly abstracted landscapes. Messy Desk, have a good night. Sleep well. Okay, next, the shoreline. This was supposed to just be like my warm-up. Kind of getting sucked into little details already. Oh gosh, okay. Straight horizon is impossible for me. Is that straight? That might be as straight as I've ever made one. What would you suggest that technique to someone who's just starting? Yeah, to anybody. Just because it's play. It's play, it's experimentation, it's learning by trying, it's getting a feel for your materials. Like that is something you inevitably have to do. Don't expect a masterpiece by any means, but just play and get a feel for the tools. It's very freeing, actually. Very fun. I know a lot of watercolor artists use big, I think they're hake brushes, flat, kind of short, stubby bristles, hairs. They create really cool textures and all sorts of cool brush marks. So yeah, it's definitely a fun thing to try. And if you're specifically wondering about gouache, I did mention this earlier, but I was a guest on Art School Live this past week, and part of that stream was talking about brushwork, and I showed some of my personal techniques and layering and blending and stuff like that. And they're like little exercises that you can do on your own. You can repeat them over and over again and with all different brushes and get a feel for it. So that might be a good place to start. Akira, don't even think about it. Oh, sorry, I bumped. Okay, now we got to do this landmass on the left, so we are going to use some... Ooh, too green. I hear his little nails clicking around and I'm like, are you about to jump up from somewhere? If he jumped on my desk right now, it would be a disaster because everything is going flying. You guys would laugh and I would cry. Just like the old days. He is. He's sneaking around. Good point, Tina. Yep, he is. Sweet little angel who never does anything wrong. I feel like I'm gonna splash them otherwise. Okay, let's do a little water reflection now. I'll have to wait for it to dry to do any of the dry brush textures. Hello, hello. Yeah, I guess. He keeps me on my toes. I feel like cats really teach you patience. Probably dogs too. Let's see. Do I want to do the foreground rock? Okay. Probably let that dry. Yeah, that sounds about right. This is definitely like a hybrid watercolor gouache technique for sure, not just layering thick gouache. But it's fun. It's just like, again, it's a good warm up to do these flowy things, the flowy ones, I feel like, because you have to be so aware of how much water you're using, which really becomes important when you do the thicker layering stuff. So we'll let that dry now. Let's see, this one, do I want to use the same layout or just wing it? When you're done with the painting, do you leave your palette with all the mixed colors? Yeah, I usually just leave it. And I find that these piles of color are sometimes a great place to start with, especially if I'm doing muted tones. I'll just mix into these existing colors and then it just instantly gives me more muted color. It's kind of a shortcut. And they just reactivate with just a little water. It's nothing, you don't have to work hard to get it to flow again. But these piles, the main colors, will stay wet. Like, I keep it all in the wet palette after, and those I can just keep using. They stay wet. This will like dry ever so slightly, but not too much, not intense. Palette dirt. Yeah, it's definitely become my favorite thing, is to mix on top of my existing piles. Okay, this time let's make more misty flowiness in the background. So I'm gonna have to move that, probably hold this up. It's gonna be a little tricky to show that. Trying to stick with the really moody colors on this one. That's way too light, so I'm gonna have to... I mean, this one is definitely just like straight up watercolor. Let's just not have water in the foreground and make it a field with a little... I guess I could do a little lock, some reflection. So what I love about gouache, again, is that it's heavier. The particles kind of sit in place a little more. So if I drop it in this wet area, it's going to kind of spider out. It'll have all these little veins almost. Like, it's really interesting. It works better if you use a light color on top of a dark color, or a dark color on top of a light color. You know, get the opposite effect. My tape is coming up, no! Yeah, this is the mop brush from Maddie's set, the one that I said I'm obsessed with. It's like the best compliment I could have found for my flat brushes. I mean, I haven't tried all the brushes that exist out in the world, but it is so much fun. My I've had a lot of brushes over the years, like watercolor brushes, silver velvets I always loved, but the points on my brushes are wearing off by now, so this one is like brand new, super crisp. So I'm like really taking advantage of it. Don't you love a new brush? Paint from the green mountain has not flowed into the blue behind it because gouache doesn't quite flow the same as watercolor. Like I was saying, the particles are kind of heavier. They sit a little heavier in the paint. So I know that it won't immediately spread to every wet part of the painting. It can if you use like tons and tons of water. But yeah, you can kind of play with that a little. That's what I've been doing a lot of. I'm trying to, if I want to use just like wet washes and let it be super super spontaneous, and I would just use watercolor. But I'm trying to learn the very weird nuances of wet gouache. And if I find something like that where, it sits heavier or makes spider veins, when I say spider veins, I mean, it's not really like descriptive, but that makes no sense. But this is what I mean. The way that it's kind of like veining out into the light color into the dark color, that's a very gouache effect, a very gouache specific effect. So I am trying to learn it. I'm trying to harness it. I'm trying to emphasize it. Yeah, because then I can pick and choose the effects that I want based on whether I'm using gouache or watercolor. You can use them in the same painting. You can switch back and forth if you want. So I could use like a really wet granulation, watercolor granulating color, and get that effect, and then I can add gouache into it and get the heavy effect. Like, it's just so much fun to be that free with it, I guess. But I can only be free with it if I learn it. Well, no, you could be free with it if you don't learn it, but I prefer to learn it so I can like harness it in the way that helps me create the painting I want. Okay, actually I'll let that dry and then I'll decide if I want to do any dry brush textures on top of it. This one, I'm going to add a tiny bit of dry brush to that island. Best gouache for brand new painter. My three favorites would probably be Schmincke Horadam, Shin Han, and Winsor Newton. I really like a lot of them. I mean, there's some amazing brands out there. But price-wise, I lean towards Shin Han and Winsor Newton because here it's much cheaper and I go through a lot of gouache, so I don't want to worry about that. But quality-wise and like the way it flows and the way it feels, I absolutely love Schmincke Horadam. But they use oxgall, so if that's something you don't want to use, then obviously avoid it. I also really love Daniel Smith and even Well, I love some colors in Daniel Smith and I love some colors in M. Graham. And I also recently bought Linnell, which is a French brand, and I really liked it when I used it in France. I haven't experimented with it enough here, but eventually I will kind of do a deep dive into that. I think maybe this winter I'll do a deep dive into a few brands that I haven't used a ton of. But so as you can see, there's not just like a single brand that's going to be the best. It's really just use the best quality you can afford. And I do suggest trying different brands because each one is going to have like a slightly different consistency and feel to it. Because gouache is just a little bit more finicky, I feel like, than watercolor, and the binder really makes a difference. Like there's a brand I like called Dollar Rowney. It's very, very opaque and very strong saturated color, but I think it's a little bit stickier. Like the consistency requires a lot more effort to use, but it is super opaque. And yeah, there's just little quirks, little differences in each brand. So I recommend trying a few different brands, try different, maybe 1 or 2 tubes of different colors in each brand if you can. Do a little experimenting and find the consistency that works for you, because it also like depends, are you layering really thick gouache on top of itself? Do you need it to be like ultra opaque, or can you use more of the transparent kind? Do you want it to be a little softer? Like all of these things make such a difference. I can go on and on and on about it. Spider veins rivulet, yeah. Yeah, that's more accurate. Like what even is a spider vein? I was thinking spider web and veins, and it just became one word in my head. Yeah, I think it's each country is going to have a different price point too for each brand. So what's affordable here might not be affordable there, and vice versa. That's something to consider. I'd say if you can get, stick with the professional quality brands, you'll be happy more or less. And it's definitely going to take a lot of time to get used to. So don't be too impatient. That's definitely easier said than done. Yeah, okay, so dry brush on this. Maybe a little. I don't know, maybe not. Maybe I like it like... No, we'll do a little dry brush. Now is the time to experiment. How much time do we have? We have 7 minutes till I was supposed to make tea, which means that these warm-ups will be over no matter what. Will she ruin it at the last second? Stick around and find out. When I do the dry brush stuff, I'm like starting very, very subtle. Very thin, hardly touching it, like just letting it glaze over a little. Do you have a video that just explains your process? I have a lot of videos that explain a lot of my processes. I have a lot of different techniques that I utilize for different things, and a lot of times like a video will focus on one of those. So yeah, they're very kind of spread out on my channel. But we do paint-alongs every month over on my Patreon channel. Those are a good place to start, because it's like you paint something from start to finish, and I walk you through what I do step by step. Otherwise, yeah, you just kind of have to click on different videos, see if it's helpful. I do have a few, dry brush technique videos. I have some that are like, I think I have one that's specifically about simplifying the landscape. Kind of what I'm doing now, I suppose. I'm always simplifying the landscape, really. I'm never making it more complicated or real than it is in person, but sometimes I'm being way more abstract than other times. I think the tricky thing, and this is something that every artist goes through, is like the finding that balance of growing your technical skills and growing your conceptual skills. So usually one is ahead of the other in some way. Your understanding of composition and color theory and lighting, you might grow really quickly in those things, but then your technical skills fall a little bit behind and you can't quite paint what you see in your head, which actually is always my case. Or you might be doing pretty good with your technical skills and you can kind of get the effects that you want to get, but then your understanding of light in the landscape might not be developed as much as you want it to be, and then you have to go study from life. So it's like a constant battle, really, a balance, finding the balance. And there's not going to be a single tutorial in the world that exists that can teach you every single thing you need to know. It's a lot of little attempts and a lot of and I think trying a lot of different approaches as well. I think that helps, because every artist is seeing something different, perceiving their environment differently, and how they use their tools to express it is going to be different. And so that can be really helpful to see as a beginner. You might hear one little tidbit from one artist that really resonates with you, or a lot of different artists, really. That's kind of how I experience it. One little tip will really stick with me for a while, and then I'll go play around with that idea, and then 2 years later I'll hear something else from a different artist and I'm like, oh yeah, and I'll go play with that for a while. Is the white in the gouache painting the paper? Yeah, most of this is the paper that you see here, the white. I added white to some of the colors here and there, but that's white of paper, that's white of the paper, this is the white of the paper. It doesn't have to be, but I'm just warming up right now, kind of playing more a little more wet and flowy for fun. And yeah, it's definitely more of a watercolor approach rather than covering the paper completely and layering thick and thick and thick. I do both. I like painting on really thick layers as well, but I also love watercolor, and I do find that using the white of the paper, especially in skies, I feel lends itself to a more naturally looking sky, a more transparent sky. Just feels right to me. I don't know. I go back and forth with it because I'll paint on beige paper as well, and painting on beige paper requires thick gouache, thick layers. Okay, I'm gonna move this over here. Actually, we have 1 minute until my tea break. So then I'll go make some tea, and then maybe after that I'll play with more thick gouache. I may change my colors slightly because I'm finding, and this is always my problem, or not, maybe not problem, but when I have purple on my palette, I am going to use that purple in everything. It might not be obvious in the left side here, but I did add it to a lot of the mixes to made it. And the longer it's on my palette, the more I'm going to use it and the more I'm going to rely on it. And yeah, I fell into that trap over the years, and I love purple. Like the other day, I was painting outside and I used a purple underlayer, and it was so fascinating and really hard, but it just reminded me of my old days. So I think I might take it off the palette. Maybe I'll use lavender, maybe, you know, still purple-ish, but maybe I'll change it to like cobalt blue or something like that. We'll see. Think about it. What color should I replace the purple with? Here's the list. Well, you can't really see the color names, but if you just look 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Maybe I'll do a little poll when I get back and decide what color to switch out that purple for. I am leaning towards this one because it's such a fun addition to the palette, but we could also go with like a Quin Magenta, or go nuts and go with the rose. Okay, I'm gonna set that there. I'm gonna put my BRB screen on. I'm gonna go get my tea, and I'll be right back. Hello. Loki joined us. Oh. You can just barely see him back there. He's kneading the dough. Oop, where am I? Oh, there I am. He's kneading the dough, getting it ready to bake. Wait. Oh, my mic is on. Okay. All right, let me just check if I missed anything. Purple's an essential. I actually posted it on Instagram earlier, the painting I did yesterday, which was it had the purple underlayer, which was still very visible in the end. So if you want to see what I mean, you can go check that out. You need to pause very quickly. The color names I flipped. Oh, here, I'll show you. Where is it? Yeah. We'll do a little pan. You want to pause and write those down. It's not all the colors, but it's most of them in the Shinhan collection. Well, actually, they probably have way more than this, but most of the ones that I own, at least. And almost all of the ones that are in the gouache boxes. So I'm kind of leaning towards adding, maybe I could add Quin Magenta or Primary Magenta and the Cobalt Turquoise. I don't know. What do you all think? Or lavender, because lavender is a lot of fun to play with in the really atmospheric washes. Wait, actually first, before we do anything, let's do a tape peel. I really hope this doesn't tear. I haven't used this tape in a long time. That's actually not bad. Not bad. This one's going to be a little tricky because it's both of them. Cool. Never really know with that tape. Mostly it's fine, but sometimes it depends on the paper quality. This is like practice paper. I think it's 50% cotton. I just noticed when I came back I should add a little more highlight to these trees. I mean, it's just my warm-up, but I can't. Once I see it, I can't unsee it. Just like a hint, you know? There. It's very subtle. I will not succumb to purple propaganda. Magenta, you think? Yeah, we could do close-ups now. I wish I could have better lighting. When it's close to my camera, the light gets blocked. Or wait, let's do that. There. I think the sky is my favorite. in the whole thing. It just screams West Coast to me, or actually anywhere in Scotland really, but especially West Coast. Those sheets of rain that come through really quick. And actually I could make this a lot lighter back there and it would feel like the rain is covering the distant hill. There's like a lot of subtle shifts in this one. Yeah, I think this one also could be better if I lighten the blue, but we'll see. It's a gray piece of plastic. I think it came with my Strada watercolor easel. Maybe? But it's just a big piece of gray plastic. You could probably find it at a hardware store and get it cut to size. The mop that I talked about, yeah, this was the mop that comes in Maddie's brush set. So this is Maddie. Definitely go. I think there's still some boxes left. They're not sold out yet, so go check them out. And yeah, I have been loving them. And I also love to support Maddie because Maddie and I streamed on Twitch together for a long time, and Maddie still streams on Twitch. But she is also starting to make YouTube videos. She's amazing. She's like the foliage queen in my head. Foliage gouache foliage queen. She does like more, a lot of like summery forest and fields and lots of detailed leafy stuff, I would say. But she also does digital painting, which is amazing to me, fascinating. So I think this is probably ready. We need some crackling fireplace in the background now. You live on the West Coast and can verify it's accurate. Oh, so jealous. I have been asked about joining Landscape Artist of the Year a lot. They actually emailed me a few years ago before I was like officially a permanent resident here, but I think in the rules it said you had to be a permanent resident here, so I just ignored it. But even then, I don't think I could apply. I think I would just, I've never really agreed with the judges on that show, and I would just get mad. But it would be cool, it would be fun, it would be good exposure. Yeah, Maddie, M-A-D-D-Y. Might be Lucky Melon on YouTube as well as Instagram. Hey Melissa, I have a big mop brush like this in my set. Well, actually it's not in the 7 brush set, but you can buy my brushes in dual sets. Like if you go look up my page on Craftomo, you can see a variety of sets that are available. And this one, there's a couple round ones. Like this is another big round one. So you can kind of see what there is, but they're different. Like mine are like big juicy mop brushes without a super fine point, whereas this one is a number 3 mop, which I'm not sure what that means, but you can see the size, like, and it has a really fine point. So it's a different use, I would say, but I obviously am obsessed. I've been using it constantly. Yeah. I love artist friends. It's too hot for that. I know, I know, I know. But we could have a YouTube video on with a crackling fire. Just be cozy with our tea. Thank you, Heiko. Yeah, check out the links that Heiko shared for Maddie's channel. She's gonna, if everyone go follow and subscribe to her, and then she's gonna be like, what happened? All of a sudden I got like a flood of followers. And we won't say, well, maybe you can if you want, but it'll just be funny. Because sometimes that happens to me. I'll get like 30 messages all of a sudden that someone subscribed. Or actually in Discord it happens randomly where all of a sudden we'll have 20 new people join. And I'm like, what happened? Where did everyone just come from? Who mentioned it? And also on Patreon, that sometimes happens where I'll have 10 new people join one day and I'm like, what? Who mentioned it? Where is this coming from? It's kind of funny. You never know who's out there mentioning you. You're gonna melt on the spot. Yeah, that's that is a possibility. We've had kind of mild weather the last week, which has been nice, but then all of a sudden it'll be really hot one day and then it'll go back down. Sometimes people message me, or when they join my newsletter, I send out a newsletter to them, and I think in the top of the email it says, you know, reply to this email, just say hi, say whatever, or say nothing, but that means that it won't go to their spam box in the future. And a lot of people reply and will tell me how they found me, and sometimes it's like one artist will mention me and a bunch of new people will join my newsletter, which is kind of cool. Which is, yeah, because that means they found my website and then they found the newsletter. Because I don't know where else you could get the newsletter. It might be linked on Instagram. Okay, what's next? I have these Etcher postcards, watercolor postcards, and they're almost gone. I've used a lot over the years. I really like them, but I noticed the new ones are different. They're like rounded. I got a newer set and that's what they look like, and the texture is completely different. You probably can't see that. The new texture is like more prominent, and there's like not really any writing on the back. There's no like there's nothing that says anything. This one, it says 100% cotton, 230 gram cold pressed paper. So yeah, I don't know. I have a few left, so I thought I could do a couple of those. Plus, I really like to send postcards when I like ship gifts to people. I like add one of these if I remember. What are you eating? Oh, sorry. I couldn't help it. I saw this in the cupboard. It's a lemon fancy. So it's like lemon cake with frosting. And I just needed sugar. Sorry. Do I want to tape it or do I just... No, actually. We're gonna go real old school now and do what I used to do and put it just on a paper towel. I used to do a lot of hand-painted postcards for my Patreon and for art shows and art fairs, I mean. And like I would get so annoyed or so sick of just taping and untaping and taping and untaping, because not every postcard or painting is going to be good. So you have to paint more than you think you need. And anyway, I started doing this where I just put it on a paper towel. And if I paint over the edge, it just goes onto the paper towel. I mean, you can see I've done it on my desk many times. That actually can be cleaned, I found out, if I use brush soap. Hello from France in the French Alps. Ooh. Can you see snow still? Or does it melt in the summer? That's not gourmet, trust me. It is definitely not gourmet, but it does feel fancy. Yeah. They put the word fancy in the title and they trick you. But it's like fake sugar as much as anything else. So look how clean and beautiful it is. Oh my gosh. Every once in a while I'll just stir up one of them that's kind of been sitting. It is interesting to see which ones have binder separation after a while, like the cobalt blue. I can see a bit of binder at the top. I can see a bit on the shadow green pale, a little bit on that yellow, but mostly they've been okay. I mean, I've been using them a lot because I only filled this like maybe the week before last week. Anyways, I decided what I'm gonna use. I'm sorry to everyone who disagrees, but I am gonna add some Quin Magenta. Let's go over here. And Cobalt Blue, turquoise. Stir it up a little first. Oh yeah, you can see that. I accidentally filled some of them too much. Like those three are kind of the black is overflowing slightly, which is annoying. So we'll see how long that lasts before I tip it over. Especially annoying because it's right next to my yellow. So every once in a while I'll do that and try to pick up some on the edge. But then it's on this thing too. See, these palettes are so much maintenance. I love them and I hate them. I love them for the convenience. I hate them for the maintenance. And I'm still not ready to bring it outside again because the reason I stopped using these in the first place was because I dropped it face down in the sand twice. 2 different ones. And I still can't. I even tried using it the second time because I was like, I cannot believe I just did that. It's such a waste of gouache. I tried using it and just sand in every brush stroke. It is the worst feeling. I mean, it adds a little bit of texture, but it's not as nice as you think. Okay. So now we have our colors. I'm gonna try not to use that one. I might use it because it's there. The other thing is, well, these don't really matter. They're just for fun, but like that one is not light fast. The rose is not light fast either. So there's certain colors that I tend to avoid just out of habit, but then I have to remind myself, like, it doesn't matter if it's just a sketch. Sorry, did I miss a question? What about the indigo? That one's Prussian blue. Unsullied gouache. Uh, okay. Let's see. There wasn't. Did I have another photo from yesterday that I was thinking of using? Maybe that one. I don't know. I like. Wait a minute. Image. Can I add the. Did I scan my gouache painting the other day? Oh, just the textures. Let's try this. This is my loose inspiration. These postcards. Oh, now I have to make my face bigger to match that, because otherwise it's really annoying that it doesn't line up. That's off slightly. Oops. That's okay. So yeah, those postcards are kind of my, that plus my photo from yesterday, they're all my loose inspiration. But they're off to the side so that they don't get wet or splashed or anything. And so yeah, I put them on the screen for you. And if anyone here is in my Discord and wants to share what you've been painting or sketching today, please do in the art channel. It's so much fun to see that. I'm just realizing I got wet gouache everywhere. Okay, let's it is Shinhan gouache in this palette. In my portable painter, the one I take outside with me all the time, that is a big mix of brands. I kind of change it out more often. But this one, I just kept it simple and went all in the same family. I need a bigger brush. I've also been using my filbert a lot for skies, which is fun because it's got a rounded edge. It's a little bit, has a bit of a softer look to it, I guess. I usually don't mix things into my gouache. I was working on a blog post the other day, which I didn't finish, but I was comparing blending medium and gum arabic and seeing how long. I think the gum arabic, I added like 1 drop. So I put 3 piles on my palette. I added 1 drop of this, 1 drop of this, and then I used water in one of the piles. And the one that I added 1 drop of gum arabic to, it took the longest to dry. And then this was the second longest. But also the swatches looked different. The gum arabic looked the best. The blending one was a little bit splotchy. So it was interesting to compare them. I'm gonna keep working on that. Probably end up doing a video about it. But yeah. Usually I don't add anything. But I do think it might be useful for someone if it's drying like crazy fast. And maybe if you're outside and it's a hot day. Hey, Lulu Bell. Oh, that's awesome, Foster. Yay. No, I haven't tried the hybrid paint. I just have so much watercolor and I have so much gouache that you can use them interchangeably that I just don't really have a purpose for that point. I don't see the point for me to buy it right now. The other thing gum arabic is useful for is if you're using a palette like this and it's starting to dry out, or you are adding a lot of water and you find that it's goopy or the consistency is really weird, adding a couple drops of gum arabic sort of like re-strengthens the binder, because the longer you use a color out of a palette like this, and especially a dry palette, the more you are kind of eroding it away and almost flooding it with water constantly. And I find that it just over time tends to crumble more. So if you add a drop or two of gum arabic, it solidifies it almost. And you can't add too much though. You have to be really careful because it can never dry if you add too much, and it can also turn shiny and you can have other issues. But just sort of learning about that and playing with it over time has been interesting. Let's see. The first layer is going to be very wet, which means it's going to curl. There I go, mixing purple again. It's okay. Everything's fine. Burnt umber is a fun one. Look how wet and juicy that is. Ooh, yeah, I like how that's behaving right there, especially. That's fun. I'll let that dry. It's kind of hard to show when it's wet, but it'll be more obvious when it dries. Oh, there's a piece of cat hair there. Ugh. Piece of cat hair. No, there's a cat hair right there. Hopefully it doesn't dry in a line right there. Oh my gosh. It's impossible to avoid, I swear. Hey Jeanette, yeah, I'm excited. Have a whole year to, well, not quite. I have a while to figure out what I want to do. I was thinking maybe a plein air gouache demo. You have so much paint you could open your own art store. Yeah, sometimes I feel like that. Between my sketchbooks and my pens and all of my stuff, I'm like, this actually would be a really cute boutique little shop. What is happening? Oh god, it's fine. Yep. I mean, it's usually fine. Let's see. This time I'm gonna try to use heavier. I usually just get it wet to like soften below what's happening on the sky so I don't end up with a hard edge. It usually helps a little. This time we're going to add white and show the effect of that veining. Actually, it probably won't show up very much because the sky is not super dark. So maybe let's experiment a little. How much this paper can handle. Some paper likes a bit more, can handle a bit more gouache or watercolor, whatever, more paint and scrubbing. Some will have a total tantrum, will not be happy. Ooh, let's go upside down. That's like really stylized. I don't even know if it's showing up as, it's very reflective when it's wet, so. Whenever I so this, I'm noticing this is, it's definitely sitting in place a little bit more on this paper, even more than on like the other paper I was using. So that could come in handy for certain effects. For watercolor, my favorite paper lately has been Baohong. I love the texture. The cold press one I have is just so luxurious. I should, sometimes I laugh at myself for doing this. Like when I'm live streaming, so much can go wrong, especially when I'm being experimental like this. And I'm like, I sometimes ask myself, why don't I just use the papers I love and the materials I love and use them in a way I know how to use them? And then everything will go more smoothly on stream and I won't look so insane. Like, but I think it's also, I think it's just fun sometimes to watch this kind of thing. And if anyone ever wonders how I learn anything I learn, this is exactly the process. By getting a lot of pieces of paper wet and splashing paint around. I'm wondering if I can handle even another layer on this. Like, it's not crazy buckled. It's quite saturated still though. I haven't tried Baohong hot press. I've tried the rough and the cold press. And both are quite nice. I like the cold press the best, I think. The texture of it. The artist one, I think I like a little bit better than the student one, but I actually like the student one too. It actually performs quite well. And I just can't believe how affordable it is for the quality. And I really like the Etcher signature sketchbooks. And for a while they were using Fabriano. I'm not sure if they switched in the most recent batch. I mean, I ordered it. I haven't opened it yet, but I'm not sure where they're at right now. I just have always liked those ones. Okay, I'm gonna actually let it sit because I kind of like the softness of it. I don't know if I want to, if I do anything, I might do like a dry brush stroke on top. So yeah, we'll let that one sit. So now we have a very, very wispy, which you can, oh, that is so hard to show on stream. Like there's like rays coming down right here. Then we have a heavier but still soft one. So now I think we should do one that's kind of... Maybe this one will go for like the... We'll charge in the white into it. We'll make the sky a little bit darker and charge the white into it and let it flow. That's the plan. That was the plan last time, but it just added too much water. So I need fresh white. What should I title this stream after I'm done? I usually change the title and the thumbnail. Not always, but I was thinking creating moody skies with gouache or something like that. Real-time process. Creating moody skies with gouache. That's pretty accurate, I think, because that's what it's kind of turned into. Wait. Be bold. Add more paint. If I want the white to really like sit and be charged into the rest, I need to make this really heavy. I mean, it's like straight up purple, so let's just go for it. Okay, yeah, a little bit more gray. This is the apocalyptic sky effect. You heard it here first. Okay, see how insane that is? And then kind of push it around a little till I like the... Actually, cobalt tends to do that too, like charge in like that. And then the fun part and messy part is you sweep water across the bottom and then drag it down. And that's when you get those rivulets, as we were saying earlier. It is so messy. You definitely need paper towels or something. This is where usually you need like a few pieces of paper till it does what you want it to do. It's working though. It's sitting in place. It's not completely fading, blending. Like the veins, the rivulets. But yeah, I need to keep it vertical for a while because it really wants to spread and I want it to go down. And the fun part, or the cool part is like, now that's just kind of very pale. It's just white mostly. I can easily get that wet and soften that edge so that line that you see there won't really be there. I kind of feel like I see a mountain here maybe, so that could be fun to play with, like right before it dries, dropping in that mountain so it's still sort of soft and the mist or the clouds, whatever it is, are hitting it. Okay. So yeah, but I'm gonna have to babysit it now because it will... Oh no! I dropped paint on this one. See that? This is why you shouldn't light it next to what you're doing. We can see what we can do later. Put those away. This one needs attention. It's just white. Yeah, so I got a lot of pigment, like that dark pigment loaded on, and then drop the white directly in it, but flat. So put it on flat and it kind of stays in place. And then when you're ready, tilt it up and like soften the bottom edge, and by softening the bottom edge it all like drags down or gets pulled down, so you get that like crazy long streaking effect, which is really fun. The tricky thing is you never really know how light that's going to dry or how dark it's going to dry. There's so much water in here, there's so much going on. That could dry almost invisible. Like white is just really weird like that. Depending how much water is there, it can vanish, which is not what we would want. So it's a magical moon. Ooh, yeah, maybe it's a moon. So half the time with these little experiments, you're like doing something, seeing what happens, and then fixing it. That's how it feels. Occasionally you get like that one mark or one thing that happens that's perfect, and you're like, okay, don't touch it, let it be. But then most of the time I'm like, okay, touch it, oh god, fix it, okay, touch it again, oh no, fix it, hurry up. This kind of reminds me of Glencoe, so I'm leaning into those colors. This top edge is still super soft, so like I'm trying to see if I want to leave that and let it be, let it flow, or I guess I can always come back with a dry brush texture. Maybe, just maybe, we want a little bit of a blue. Mountain. I prefer more layers of mountains, but I didn't really give myself enough space. That's okay. So I think letting this dry would probably be the best idea, and then come back and do dry brush if I want. I don't know. It could just be its own little experiment and live as a reminder of what happens in that situation. Didn't I say I was gonna... What is this music? Go away. Didn't I say I was gonna let it dry? Get out, get painting and try this out. Yeah, go for it. Have fun. Get splashy, get messy, have some paper towels ready, or towels, whatever, nearby, because this is all very drippy and splashy and crazy. Oh my gosh, look. I don't know if you can see how floppy this paper is. It is so floppy. I think what I'll do is let it dry, then we can do a little dry brush, maybe tie in the purpley colors up here into the foreground a little bit, but I'd want to leave the first layer soft and let it completely dry. And then also I'll see if this actually dries light, because you never know. let's see if we can do anything with that one. Slowly retreat to bed so you get a few hours of sleep. Okay, yeah, sounds good, Heiko. I hope you sleep well and all goes smoothly tomorrow. This is going well. Oh no, now it's not. Yeah, it's like a back and forth. Oh man. Okay. So, yeah, this one, don't know if, do we want to go for the moon effect? Oh wait, that's the same size. You can see I'm like twisting my brush, which makes it give me a softer, a softer edge, a less uniform edge because it's a flat brush. If I don't, it'll just be like a nice solid mark, flat mark. I don't think I've ever, maybe I've painted a moon once. I don't even remember when that would have been. I think it was like from a paint along like many years ago from a reference I took on Sky. Funny how in a short span of time you start painting something you didn't expect that you would be painting. Oop, let's lean towards that purple. I prefer the Prussian blue in the primary magenta as a purple. Like, I like the look of it a little bit better. A little bit stronger, maybe. Cleaner looking. I actually don't remember what pigments are in that pre-mixed one, so. I guess I'm painting water. On some dry brush. Oh, that's not dry. Maybe a little bit of landmass in the foreground to kind of silhouette it. We'll see. This turned into completely improv, like I don't even know. That's really fun though. I think it's good to tickle your brain like that sometimes. Never did I imagine I would be painting a night scene with a moon, not from reference, live on stream. So there you go. Definitely, I should paint a moon scene like this from a reference now and see the difference. This is my imagination moon. I don't know if it's reflective. Sometimes we need a imagination moon. I don't know if a lot of you that are hanging out today remember when I were around when I first started painting, and I did a lot of fantasy art and fantasy landscapes. This is reminding me of that so much. You call it intuitive imagination. Interesting. I mean, you are drawing from past experiences and visuals that you've seen, and most of the time it's somewhat based on reality, if not changed quite a bit, but yeah, it's definitely a really fun exercise to do that once in a while. I like the playfulness of it. I'm not sure if the moon part is going to dry bright enough. I'll have to see in a minute. We'll let this dry and then look at it again in a minute, but I want to show you what happened with this one. It actually dried quite bright. Like, that part is quite bright. So that's interesting. I really thought it would fade a little bit more. You're painting a snowy forest path. Oh, okay. I vaguely remember that. That's when you decided to learn gouache and you teach it now. That's amazing. Oh my gosh, how cool. That means you have done a lot of practice, because that actually wasn't that long ago. That is so cool. Ooh, I have some purple pre-mixed. So the cool thing about Viridian is that it's still quite blue, so if you mix magenta into it, you get a purplish color. So it's pretty versatile. I just hesitate to put it on my palette because it can easily take over a mix, and I used to have it on my palette just like purples, pre-mixed purples, and I would really heavily lean on it, so like my paintings would end up all looking the same, kind of all Viridian or all purple. So yeah, it's I need like self-discipline or something to stop doing that if it's on my palette, to make a conscious effort to mix. Maybe a little more green there. It's a nice shadow color. Viridian, primary magenta, and cobalt turquoise. Painting a forest with a ruin. Ooh. Tornado in the distance. Yeah, this one is just gonna go in the recycling bin, but I want to finish it because I want to see the overall effect at the end. Oh, this is another fun thing about gouache, is how you can reactivate and push and pull. So I'm working in really thin layers, but if I get it wet now, I can still push them around a little bit and blend edges. So it's... acrylic gouache won't let you do that. So if you want your first layer to dry and then paint on top of that worrying about it, that is definitely a great approach, acrylic gouache. But I love doing this where I can come back in and play a little bit, blend a little bit. I always miss it when I can't do it. Like if I use acrylic gouache, I'm like trying to blend, realizing I can't, and I'm like, oh. I have to like tilt my head to see past the glare on the paper because it's drying. It's this light is directly above for me, that makes it glare. I don't think it does on the camera as much, but for me it's really just reflecting all of that. So I have to paint like this. Yeah, Christiane, it does depend on the color, because some gouaches are more, some colors are more transparent. Some of them contain white or more opaque pigments, and so those will be able to do that effect. So you kind of have to get used to which colors do which. But yeah, it's a lot of fun to play with that. You have no reflection in the screen. Yeah, so I just look a little crazy. That's fine. What else is new? Okay, so that one's drying pretty well. Like the moon is still looking moonish, but I think we need a shorter reflection, so I'm gonna lay that in. It's not as good as the toned sketch for gouache. Try to get rough. Need some exercise. It's not as good as the toned sketch. Which one are you? Sorry, I guess I missed which sketchbook you were talking about, but yeah, I still love my Stillman and Burn beige. I'll show you some of the things I've been up to in a second if you guys are curious. I mean, I maybe showed them somewhere. Sorry, I'm squinting at my painting so I can see if I'm getting the reflection right. I think it just helps if you're doing a moon or a sun that's close to the horizon, it helps to have a bit of a sharper, a more narrow reflection. Whereas it's, you know, if it's all more of ambient light, it can be kind of spread out and it works. Yeah, my Stillman and Burn has been, I think I shared a few of these on Instagram. The photos, my photos will be much more crisp than this video, but what else? We could just do a quick flip through. I think I'm actually ending the stream soon because it's been 2.5 hours. But first, let me show you everything we painted today, which actually was less than I thought because I always think I'm gonna do more. I'll put that away in my Stay Wet palette. So, what do we have? Some of these I may tweak a little bit. Some of them may just go recycling, but every single one of them is super. So these were the inspirations on the right. These are the inspirations, which I probably can't fit on this stream, so we're just gonna move them actually. And then I did these two earlier. 4 very different scenes. Different vibes. But I learned a lot, even in a short session, as usual, which is awesome. Oh, the alpha sketch. Yeah, I don't love that one, but I love the beige one. They're all so... they make so many. It's confusing. The papers are all different. The thicknesses are all different. But yeah, there's... I'll do a really quick flip through of what I've done lately. A lot of sunsets because I was doing a sunset tutorial on my Patreon. That was in a video this month, I think. Those were... I've actually been going back and painting like in older pages in my sketchbook so that I can make the most of the pages. Because I'll sometimes have like a big blank space on a page and I'm like, oh, I really want to fill it. So like I went back and did this one, which I think was also in a recent video. This was that big spread in that video where I said, talked about, I think the title of the video is called How I Trick Myself into Painting More. That was what I did when I tested Maddie's brushes. This is the problem, is I bookmarked some of the pages. Oh, this is one. But I haven't flipped through this fully to see. Actually, I think that is it, except that one. So I went back to the beginning and filled that page in. For some reason, I had like nothing there on the bottom of that page. Oh my god, this is from February 2024. When I was getting ready for like plein April, I think. So those are a few recent sketches. And that was what we did on Patreon this month. But yeah. Did I really only do 4 today? I was like, oh, I'm gonna do 10 paintings. Wow. It's okay. Okay, cool. Well, there we have it. There's the results. There are the results. Thank you for hanging out with me, everyone. I hope you had a fun day. I hope you got some sketching in or studying in or anything like that. And next weekend might be either a week off or another live stream, because this coming week I have a friend in town, Heiko, and we're going all over the place all week, so I don't even know if I'll be able to film or edit. So keep that in mind. Next week is kind of up in the air, but then the week after I am definitely working on a video because it's been too long. So, and I have a lot of footage to edit. I just have to do it. I have to make time to do it. But this summer has been so wonderful. It's been so inspiring. I've been going all over the place, car camping, painting. It's like exactly what I needed, I think. So necessary. So thanks for your understanding of the sporadic schedule for a little while. All right, I am gonna head out, and yeah, you can rewatch this if you want to sketch and work more, but otherwise I will see you all again soon. So bye everyone, take care. Oh, not leaving, or not getting tea. We're going. Okay, bye.